Okay, welcome back, friends. We're at the top of the yard in the back today, and I think you can see that bit of elderberry branch hanging down in the walking space. Today we are going to prune this back, but we're going to take advantage this time of year, hello little bird, to go ahead and propagate with it. We've got a pretty good size stand of it here. I planted 2 rooted cuttings 3 years ago, and the first year it grew and grew, and last year it put up 6 quarts of fruit. Pretty amazing. But the fruit is so heavy that it bends the branches over, and out in natural uncurated spaces it would take the branches all the way down to the ground and root them. I think you can see these little bumps all over the bark, and anywhere that touches the ground and leaves fall over it in the fall, it will start to root, and that's how this plant gets to walking around places. So it's got good buds really coming on. We're going to cut these up into pieces and carry them down and put them in along the back fence and get some production going on back there. So it'll root really small lengths of cuttings. The one thing you want to make sure of when you're cutting them and stacking them to move them somewhere or put them in pots, you always want the up part of the plant up and the down part of the plant down in your soil. I'm going to take pretty long cuttings because I have enough branch here to do it. Our drought situation in New Jersey right now, our water supplier has banned us from outdoor watering, which doesn't include gray water, but I want to be really careful to get these stems down in deep so they can make use of natural water. We have some rain coming in today, so we're going to get them in the ground in pretty good shape. But you want to make sure, I'm going to leave that bud for the next branch, cut that, and then I need to make sure that this is facing up. This little stem here is dead. I'm going to nip that off. I'm going to nip that off. And I've got a bud here, and these are going to be underground, so I'm just going to take those off there and put it in pretty deep. And again, I just want to make sure when I organize them that I keep up and down. Somebody needs to sharpen their clippers. There we go. Okay, so let's get them down the back. One last thing while we're at the main plant. I'm going to make my last cut here because I've got these 3 beautiful buds coming up with leaves here. That's going to get the plant growing back up the direction we want to. If I picked buds that were somewhere on the bottom only or on the sides, it might grow in a direction I don't really love. So we are going to cut that right there. And then that plant is all ready now to get going in spring. Here we go. Oh, and here's your dog behavior and safety PSA. When dogs see you playing with something, touching something, they think it's safe for them to play with and touch. But elderberry is extremely toxic in its plant form. So please don't let your dogs play with them, and don't let them eat the fruit either. Okay, we're down the back fence. You want to plan carefully when you're in a small space. I want to be careful to avoid the gate and not get too awfully close to the actual bottom of the gate. I don't want roots pushing it up or escaping. It's a bit rough back here. That's all right. I'm not worried about it. That'll all come together in time. But we're going to get these put in. Now you can do a thing called heeling in, which you don't push the stem with the heel or the palm of your hand. You grip the stem and you use the power of your palm, that muscle, to push straight down in. That's just not a technique that works for me at this particular juncture in time. And there are a lot of rocks, and there's all kinds of weird trash back here. That's a long story involving neighbors. But I'm not going to do it that way. I'm going to use a shovel and wedge them down in like so. Okay, let's move our, I'm going to move that stick away. Careful to keep up, up, and down, down. Going to find a good spot where we want to work. See, now I've hit something under there. I'll wiggle around and see if I can get around it. It's not moving, so it's a rock or something. So we're just going to move away a little bit. I really want to get a good deep exposure. And then you're just going to rock. And then a lot of shovels made for gardening, it's just the way it's built. You've got a little bit of a channel there, and you can use that to help put your stems in. It's loose, obviously, it doesn't have roots. I'm just gonna press it in, press it in, press it in. This is one of those occasions where you're absolutely allowed to walk on the ground where you're gardening. It's leaning over, I'm not worried about that. It'll get itself going up and down properly on its own in time. Okay, so we've got them in. The last thing I did was top dress with a bag of wood chips. That just helps to smother this grass that's back here. Because these stems are right now undifferentiated, they don't care that they've been mulched that closely. It's going to help them stay a little bit warmer. I don't mind if they freeze, that's fine. But it'll help them stay a little bit warmer the last couple of weeks of spring here, and help keep the water down against the roots. These last two small ones I put in together. Always remember to remove all of the leaf buds except the very top ones. You don't want the plant energy going into lots and lots of leaves. You want the stem to put its reserved energy into roots. When these leaves come out, they will start photosynthesizing and accumulating additional sugar for the plant later on. Let's see if I can turn that one. No, it's not going to turn. That's going to be all right. And there they are. Easy peasy. Only takes a couple minutes of the day, and you've got a bunch of new plants that are going to produce exceptional antioxidants for you and your family. And we will see you next time with another project. Vinnie thanks you for your time, and we will see you again.